Welcome to Total War. Honestly, it's probably the original battle simulator. It's one of the best out there. We just don't call it a battle simulator because there is so much more to this game than the average battle simulator, which you just have two armies on a battlefield fighting it out. What you're going to be seeing today is a siege. It's going to be a truly epic siege between the greenskins here, Grimgor's Odd Boys, and the Dawi, the dwarves, in their capital city of Karaz-Akarak. Now you can see, we're looking at the campaign map. And you can see that, like, these little red little tomato faces, those is really orcs, ain't they? Well, that's my empire. So imagine a turn-based empire happening, and then when you want, hey, I want a real-time epic battle. Well, you can do that. So what we're doing is Nogdrad here and all of his little gobos, and Grimgor here. Well, we're in the middle of a wa. You want to know what a wa is? Let's just say these orcs love to fight so much that they're like, hey, I'm gonna go fight somebody, and everyone else is like, hey, I want to do that too. I want to go crumpin'. And ladies and gentlemen, they go crumpin'. So this is the situation. Mr. Fergal Deathdealer and Thorgod Grunnesson and their legendary lord. Where are you at? He's in there somewhere. They've got some amazing units. They've got these longbeards, dwarf warriors, and they've got quarrelers and even dudes with like muskets. The Thunderers and giant catapults too. And I've got a bunch of idiot greenskin noobs called the goblins. They're like the lowest tiered units. However, through this wall, we have something called a lava arachnarok spider. It's a giant spider volcano. So now that you know the situation, it's time to show you the battlefield we're going to be fighting on, and what's at stake is none other than the capital city of our greatest enemy, the dwarves. They're in the way of our expansion north. This is one of the most epic dwarven cities in any video game, movie, TV show that I have ever seen. And unfortunately, there's not nearly enough TV shows to choose from. But my friends, this is going to be an epic siege. Now, you can see here by these beautiful siege towers, they look very orky, well, because they are, and I'm leading the orc army. And at first glance, you're like, aye, Baron, those big gobos. And yes, they're really excited to be here, although they're very, very ugly. Led by their goblin lords here, and this dwarven fortress looks impregnable. However, let's just say I was a little bit mischievous before the battle and sent an agent to sabotage some walls. But there's plenty of dwarven crossbowmen on the walls, and the towers themselves have cannons in them. Needless to say, it's going to be a very, very difficult battle, and if we manage it past the wall, there's the leader, Thorgrim there, the grudge bearer. He's got a book, and he's basically a very mad little man, and if you ever slight him, he writes it down in his book, and then he hunts you down and kills you. It's a little scary, needless to say, so maybe the orcs is the good guys. But then you're like, well, they do have really cool beards, so maybe they're not all that bad after all. But yeah, once you make it past the walls, then you have to encounter this giant army, right? It's pretty nuts. We're gonna need a little bit of help from our friends. And our friends, well, we've got reinforcements, and our friends are gonna come in the form of, wait till you see it, lava spiders. I kid you not. This giant lava spider has some really cool abilities. He kind of looks like a volcano. And you know what volcanoes do? They explode and shoot lava rock boulders everywhere. Yeah, this is a giant spider lava volcano. And he's got like little goblins on the top that'll shoot arrows and throw spears. But if you look over here, those lava spiders aren't even the baddest thing that we can bring to battle. We need the one true git, Grimgor Ironhide. This is me. This is my champion in this Total War campaign. And we are going to be attacking the dwarven city of Karaz-Akarak, which is basically like, it's like where the Pope lives, and the dwarf is the Pope, and we running in there, we're like, hey man, we don't really like you. We ain't paying our tithes, and we're gonna kick you in the nuts. It's kinda, but not really what it's like, but look at this. Look at that siege tower go down, and they're like, oh shoot! The gobos is coming, and the little gobos with their shields and spears come out. And they just start storming the walls. I love the siege towers. I gotta say, Lord of the Rings, you need to go. You need to talk to Creative Assembly because my goodness, does this not just remind you kind of Minas Tirith, the siege towers, and then all the orcs coming? Where's Gandalf? So yeah, I've got a bunch of goblin archers just chilling out here. Like, look at this. Our arrows will blot out the sun. Except we're underground, so they're gonna blot out everything else that is showing to be light. And look at this. The Dwarven towers, they're gonna be firing their little cannons. Boom! And then explosions go off and gobos die, but they're meant to do that. All the while, men are moving into position to storm through the breaches in the wall, led by basically our giant beasts here, the volcano lava spiders. They're lava arachnarok spiders, and they are just gorgeous. So we're waiting for the reinforcing infantry to show up, and then we're gonna storm through. And these be orcs. They're bigger, stronger, and meaner than gobos. Well, maybe not meaner, but they definitely do more damage. And this guy's like, hey, you're really ticking me off. And so we're bringing in some siege ladders here with our little gobos. Who's doing it? Who's charging up that? See, this is another way. We can use siege towers, and the goblins will charge up here because, say the enemy is like trying to basically defend this bit of the wall. Hey, you know what? We'll just climb the ladders. And first lava spider breaches the gates, pushes a bunch of the dwarfs back, decides, you know what? I'm a little bit hungry. I might eat some of you guys. And this thing is just absolutely destroying them. The other spider pushes through the gates. Now, I'm not sure when it's gonna happen because I don't like the battle was chaotic, and you gotta micromanage almost everything. But eventually, you're gonna see an eruption. Now, what's happening over here? The dwarves are coming in from all sides, and there's Thorgrim on his little like chariot, which is actually carried by a bunch of other dwarves. All right, guys, it's about that time. There it is. The explosion. And you know what? There's gonna be another one because I'm like, hey, that's a brilliant idea. Look at that. A giant volcano spider leading a siege. Now, where is he? Where's Grimgor? There he is. You're like, is Grimgor really the best, Baron? Well, watch him take on just hordes and hordes of dwarf warriors. I gotta say that I really do believe that the Total War games are the ultimate battle simulators, but they're not even called battle simulators because there's so much more to them. I'm literally building an empire, and this is just a battle. You have turn-based empire building, and then you have giant battles that happen in real time. And these, my friends, I need to get a better camera mod because my goodness. These are the Black Orcs, and they are bad warriors. And by bad, I mean, if you're fighting them, it sucks. So, gobos and orcs pouring through the breaches. Giant arachnarok lava spiders destroying everything. But the dwarves are very good at range. They've got these guys. They're called quarrelers. No, they're not called simple crossbowmen because the dwarves are little angry people. And they like quarrels. And they've got axes on their back, so it's like, you close the distance and want to fight them. Look how well armored they are. These guys are mean in their own right. And they're like, well, maybe we should, I don't know. What's going on? And then I got little gobos that stormed in that far siege tower. So they're shooting from the flanks. And the lava spiders are exploding. We might get to see another one. Now is the season of their discontent. That's what they're saying. And now my arrows are finding these poor dwarven crossbowmen who are trying to hold the line against a giant spider, literally spilling bodies all over the battlefield. I just wouldn't want to be them right now. It's just, it looks like a bad time. And then there's Grimgor literally just going in solo, chopping up dwarves left and right. He's like, wait a second. There's a dwarf lord over there, and I want to crump him. So he's gonna, I'll tell you what, guys. If he wants to crump, he will crump. Oh my god. Is this not glorious? Two of the baddest units on my army fighting side by side. This lava spider's like, hey, maybe while the orcs try to pull through the breaches here and the dwarves try to hold them, these guys are oddly enough retreating. They're scared. They're not doing too well. We've moved a few archers over here that are firing over the walls, and you can see that the dwarves here got their shields up and they're taking some to the face. And we're trying to target these guys who are massing over here, all the while in the back. And do take the time to appreciate how glorious this city is. The dwarves have these catapults. Look at these things. The dwarves are quite ingenious with their machines and siege weapons. They even have some pretty cool catapults. And yeah, it's a giant hand that's throwing rocks, you know, so there's that. Unfortunately, one of the coolest orc units, it's a catapult that fires a rock that's kind of like guided. There's little goblins on the front of them. And also, like, there's another one where, like, they fire goblins that have these gliders, and they just kind of, like, kamikaze in. So look at this, man. Arrows just destroying any dwarves that decide to hold the walls. These goblins there, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's just leave them there. And they're celebrating. And look at that beautiful siege tower, man. One of the spiders, unfortunately, wasn't enjoying it, so he decided to retreat because there's morale in the Total War games. Giant lava spider! Look at that. Imagine being the size of a dwarf and seeing something that big. And look in the background. The other Ragnarok is coming in. Oh, yeah, you guys are probably dead. But the dwarves are strong, got good armor. This was a key battle because I needed to take the Dwarven capital as my own. These poor goblin archers decided to get bum rushed by some dwarves that are much better armored and much more dangerous. The dwarves are cleaning up a lot of the units that decided to take the upper battlements, but that was largely a diversion. The real battle here, and I'll show you what I see. Check this out. This is what I see. Different units all over the thing. There's so much information happening. It's pretty nuts. Yeah. So the green banners are me, the blue banners are them, and this guy is about to... See that? That white flag? That's not the French flag. That means his morale is dropped. And he's looking to retreat, as opposed to just like die. But if he can't make it out in time, he will die. Now we get to see the king versus the king. The king versus Grimgor. So this guy's fighting from his giant like wheelchair here. There's little red tartar sauce all over the place. Or is that blueberry jam or blood? And ultimately, there can be only one leader. Well, there can be only one victor. Obviously, there can be many leaders. The dwarves are like, oh, man, we gotta protect our lord. But Grimgor don't care, man. He'll beat you in individual combat. Lava spiders gonna be lava spiders. I want to see more volcanoes. Look at that. He's about to die, and voila. He crumbles to the ground. Grimgor destroys the enemy lord. Both spiders are running amok. And everybody else, you'll see this little white bar. That's their morale. It starts to drop because they're like, man, this is going really, really badly for the dwarves. And it is. I mean, look at this. All the archers just chilling outside. Some of my units retreated. I can't be bothered to micromanage. And I'm just now realizing that I think, like, some of my reinforcements originally didn't come in. Some of these guys do come in later. I think there's a max number of units you can have on a battlefield, and I still haven't mastered that number. Let's say we's a little green when it comes to experience in these battles. Oh yeah, that's terrifying. Hey dwarves, look behind you. It's a bunch of dudes with spiky sticks and big old swords, and needless to say, you're in between a rock and a hard place. You are in a literal meat grinder. And if I want, boom. Oi, I almost said dorks. So guys, Gork or Mork, what's your favorite Total War game? Do you want to see more Total War on the channel? Because I can tell you what, man, I play this a lot in my spare time, the campaigns. And it's just like, it's truly just an epic experience. The dwarves are doing their best. Look at these giant guys, like, they're armored to the teeth. And they have these big, big hammers. And they're fighting the biggest, baddest orcs that I have. The black orcs with giant armor and even bigger axes. But you'll see, a lot of them are like, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. So this unit of hammerers, which are losing decisively, and these archers, which are losing, the quarrelers here, they've got their big axes on their backs. They're like, you see that little blinky blink? Yeah, that's right before the flag, and this is where it all falls apart. They're like, you know what? It's time to pack it in. We're gonna go hide in the caves, and my God, man, that was a exceptional battle. That was so fun. So if you guys want to see more epic siege battles, crazy monsters, like, you haven't seen some of the craziest stuff that Warhammer 2 Total War has to offer, and I'd be happy to show it to you. So if you guys want to see more, let me know. Thank you for watching. Pull the trigger on the like button, and you know what? I'll see you guys in the next video.